Hello everyone, my name is John Lucier, and today I'm going to be doing a video rewind review on the game Mass Effect 3. Alright, let's check it out. Alright, starting off here, almost immediately we see some really nice, clean, crisp scenery. I can definitely tell that I'm in space on a different planet. Now I got my setup here, so there must be low atmosphere on the planet. Alright, hold on. Gotta set my skill points. Oh yeah, I would like to talk about the menu system too. It is kind of complex at first, but after a little bit of toying with it, you should be able to navigate through pretty easily. And they also have this neat feature too, so if you don't feel like taking the time to level up your allies, you can just auto level them up, and it'll basically set the skill points down for them. Alright. Okay, let's go. But yeah, going back to the scenery here, this does look very, very nice, I will say. Playing with my abilities here, hold on. Sorry about this. Alright, let's go. Alright. We're walking here now. The controls, I would say that they may not be the best. They are kind of stiff, but I mean, with most third-person shooters, you can't really get the most fluid gameplay, as is seen with other titles like Resident Evil or Gears of War. There's a little bit of edginess, but it's just basically its own style of playing here. I will give I would like to start by saying that the graphics, I will give them an 8 out of 10. I won't go too high with them because they're not pristine, but they are really, really nice. I would not go any lower though, because that would just be too harsh. Now, the controls, like I said earlier, it is a third-person game, but still, I'll give them a 6 out of 10 because of the fact that it is really edgy still, and like some parts it'll lock up and you can't move until you actually stop moving what you're doing and then pick back up. But alright, now we're moving on to the music aspect here. You guys can't really hear it because I turned the audio off, but I think the music will definitely get a solid 7 out of 10 because I will say the music is pretty captivating. I do love the sounds. There are really intense battle tracks that play when you're in the midst of combat here. Very, very captivating. Now, with the replayability, you definitely want to play it more than once because of the fact that there's so many different choices to choose from that you may not get the full experience through one sit down of the story. So I know most people aren't really patient, but if you do just kind of take the time, maybe a couple minutes of the day, and just play through the second story, you definitely won't regret it because you will find out a whole bunch more than you did the first time. I've actually played this game over 5 times now at least, and still, every time I play, I discover something that I didn't discover the last playthrough. Now, let's see, I know most people do not like the fact that the storyline isn't as great as everyone said it was, but I think it is very, very decent until the very spoiler, actually. Big spoiler alert. The very end was disappointing. I was very depressed when I came to it, but every second of the storyline up to it was very, very good. I enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, there are a few other things I'd like to talk about too that a few people brought up to my attention is where some people said that when you do make your individual choices that'll appear up constantly in the cutscenes, some people have said that you could choose either one and it wouldn't really make a drastic difference. But I would just like to reassure them that if they actually did play the game, they would see how much each decision affects your overall outcome, especially in this game. Maybe not so much in the previous titles, but in this game, every action you do will have dramatic effects on your future endeavors. Now, I can't really say anything because I'm sure there are people out there who still haven't even gotten halfway through the game, so I'm not really going to go out and give specifics, but there are parts where you'll have to choose between friend or resource. Say you choose your friend because, you know, they're your buddy, they're your pal, you've been with them for many, many games, and you just kind of basically endured and survived with them, but at the same time, when your world is in jeopardy, you gotta make the decision whether one person is important enough to you, or if 1 million plus people are important to you. And I think that thought just kind of puts a big question in a lot of people's heads, and making the choices there could make a world of a difference to the player's experience in the game. Actually, alright, I would like to say too, earlier, I would like to correct myself. I said many, many games. I meant to say many, many years. You've been with them for quite a decent amount of time over the course of 3 games. So you have built strong relationships with a lot of the characters in the game, depending on how you played it. Now, back onto the topic at hand. As far as reviewing goes, I'm definitely new at this. I've just barely started. I would say this is actually my first legit review that it's going to be posted on the site, and well, I just want to say that this is a very, very good game. I'm a little disappointed that some people would say that this is an awful game, it's not worth getting, not even worth taking the time to play, but in all seriousness here, this game probably is one of the most important titles to gaming itself. If you haven't played the Mass Effect series at all, then you're missing out on a whole world of opportunity. If you're just sitting around playing Call of Duty all day, every day, then I don't want to sound rude, but you're not really much of a gamer. Now, I will be doing a overview here in a second to give the final grade of the game. I just want to let you guys kind of see a little bit more of the gameplay, so you can kind of form your own opinion here too. But there is a lot of realism to this game, even though it does take place pretty futuristic. It there's just some destructible scenery. There's a lot of things like when you go into space, obviously there's no atmosphere, so you're gonna need some kind of equipment to breathe. Whereas I've seen in some games that aren't really too realistic, you can just kind of float around in space. No breathing equipment or anything. Now this is a weapons bench. Here you can kind of customize your weapons and your attachments. I just had to remove some stuff because the less you're carrying, the faster your power will recharge, so you can use some of your special abilities a lot faster than you would if your guy was all loaded up with guns. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because like there are several classes. I'll give an instance for one is the soldier class, where you will not necessarily need to use many special abilities because you are a soldier and you are super advanced in skill with using firearms and grenades and explosives. So having the ability to shoot fire out of your hands isn't really needed when you have 17 guns you can switch in and out from. But if you picked, I'll give only one more class, but there's the engineer, which can build, or not build, but almost spontaneously spawn an auto turret that'll float around with you, and it'll shoot things as you're fighting to give you a little bit more of an assistance when, say, your allies are downed and you can't really revive them yet. But yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of playing here a little bit more to give you guys a good view on what's to come if you do end up playing this game. Like, I know it has been out for a while now, but not many people, I believe, have taken the time to play this, and they really should. Alright, well, I'll start tallying up the overall scores here now. Okay, so, graphics, my personal opinion, are amazing, but not mind-blowing. So I will give them an 8 out of 10. The gameplay is very, 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 very addicting. You'll get lost in it very fast with almost little time to realize that you've just played for 4 hours without stopping. So I'll give the gameplay an 8 out of 10. It's good. It's good. Not the best, but it's good. Alright, soundtracks. I talked about this earlier. The music is pretty good. You can tell when you're in an intense battle or when you're in a calm scenery. Very, very immersive. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Now, controls. Sadly, the controls are not the best. I did say at the beginning of the video that it is a third-person game, but they still do stick, and sometimes it is hard to get out of places. Say if you're crouched on a wall or behind some kind of cover, you might get stuck there for a second until you stop moving and then try to move. Replayability, I will give an 8 out of 10 because obviously this is an RPG. If you do not play the game again, you will not experience everything. Even like I said earlier too, I did play. Oh, hi Tim. I did play several times over just so I could get the most out of this experience, because this is probably one of the best titles that have come out for Xbox. Alright, this is John Lucier, and I will be putting the final tallies up, but thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my first review. Please subscribe, like, all those will help, and I will see you later.